Countries across the globe are celebrating World Population Day today. This day is observed every year on July 11 to raise awareness about issues concerning the global population. As of November 2021, there are over 7.9 billion people around the world. The human population has consistently grown in the last few centuries. The Governing Council of the United Nations Development Programme established World Population Day in 1989. On July 11, 1987, the global population reached 5 billion, so the day came to be observed as World Population Day. This year's World Population Day theme is A World of 8 Billion Towards a Resilient Future for All, harnessing opportunities and ensuring rights and choices for all. Joining me from Lusaka, Zambia, to discuss this is Dr. EDIFY Hamukale, an agriculture economist and scientist. He's also a former government minister. Good to see you and thanks for your time. Let me start by asking you how the observance of this day since helped shape discussions on the importance of paying attention to the world's population.
Thank you very much, and greetings to the continent of Africa from Southern Africa, Zambia. Yes, indeed, the population dynamics on the continent of Africa and indeed in Southern Africa have not been static. As you may perfectly be aware, we have a rapidly growing population. At the moment, around about 1.3 billion people on the continent of Africa, with around 360 million of those coming from Southern Africa, where I come from, and the growth rate of about 2.5%, but characterized by a youthful bout. If you do a symmetrical binomial distribution of the African population, you notice that the median age is around 19.7 or 20 years, which is really indicating that we have an extremely young population. And so this is very, very important for Africa to prepare itself to respond to this youthful population explosion. And also given that the other indicators of population demographics, such as fertility rate, are not reducing. We have a reduction in infant mortality. We have an increase in life expectancy, but we don't have a reduction in fertility rate. For example, Central Africa has the highest number of twins per thousand. Benin, for example, produces 28 women. If you have 1,000 pregnant women, 28 women in Benin will produce twins, triplets, quartet, or higher numbers. And to deal with all that, we need policies that will look at the future management of the African population in the facets of education.
EDIFY, I'm happy now you've touched on a very important aspect which has to do with, plans and policies. Now, quickly, the world population as highlighted by you over the last few decades. However, continuous population growth can give rise to many other problems, such as food insecurity, poverty, adequate and appropriate shelter, and so on, which Africa is also suffering from. Now, listening to you talking about policies, how has African leaders or leadership responded to this rightly or wrongly?
Well, speaking for Southern Africa, I think the focus really is on youth skills, education. And for example, in Zambia, the government has introduced a free education policy, no payments whatsoever from primary education, secondary education, nobody pays anything. And so, which means we are moving towards a highly educated young population. And then we have also seen the government loading resources at the bottom of the income pyramid, supporting youths that have entrepreneurial interests or want to get into entrepreneurship easily accessing money, which we didn't have in the past. And I think this is really positive. And I've seen a number of other countries around SADC doing the same. What we are really avoiding is to see our highly trained young men and women leaving Africa when we desperately need them to develop the continent, getting into Europe, where there's an aging population and therefore has a huge gap in terms of labor supply. So we want to see a young population that is dynamic, educated, entrepreneurial-minded, and ready to offer service to the continent, to develop it, to attack poverty, and all other vices that border on human development.
Now let's bring Africa into this, particularly, looking at how significant this day is to the continent.
You mean the day?
Yes.
Yes, this is an extremely important day because it reminds us of the need to really look after our citizens. This year, we will be having a census of population, and this really places an emphasis on accuracy of data and understanding the characteristics of our population so that we manage it, properly and prepare it to be a very useful population. If you project into the year 2100 or 2100, Africa will be home to something like 4.3 billion people. 4.3 billion people, and the global population will be around maybe 11 billion, according to projections by the United Nations system. And so this population has to be fed. That means we need to really manage the carrying capacity of Africa's resource base in terms of food production. Can we feed this huge population that is resident on the continent? We have also challenges of climate change that we must include in our policies as Africa.